friends, I am finally getting back to finishing one of the canvases I started the other day when I did the two of them and used the same paints and everything, and the two of them turned out very different, and I'm going to do some very different stuff with them. First I want to catch you up on what I did with my last video. Some of these are still kind of random. They are in a project in work. Okay, first of all, and I kept playing with this one, let you see that a little closer. Did some little flowers. I'm still kind of deciding what I want to do more for this. So there's that. And this one kind of made it like a forest. I'm probably gonna do some painting of these to make them look like trees, and then like water down here at the bottom. I may put like a little house down here. So I've got an idea, and I think it's gonna turn out pretty cool. I kind of like what we're started with. It's texture-y. And then this one, it's kind of dark, but I started with getting some trees made. I don't know if you can see them in this light. And hold on, let me see if I can make it a little more possible here. Speaking of light, there. So anyway, that's kind of where we're started with those. And this is one that again is kind of evolving. I think I need to do something different with the water. Not too shabby, but you know, a lot of these things, especially when you're mixing fluid art with traditional art, it might take a minute. And here is one that's going to copy what I did with took a picture while I was out on a walk, and gonna turn that into kind of a foresty kind of thing. So anyway, this is what we're getting started with, and I gotta take a little break here for a minute, but we will be back. Alrighty, so I turned it, so hopefully you can see a little better what I'm doing. Let me see if I can get this a little closer. There. I'm wanting to make this into like a leafy forest floor, and the only way I could think to do this was to use these balloon pops. Hopefully you can see it. Never done this before, so if it turns out, it's gonna be like, woohoo! Yeah, that's what I meant to do. Okay, and what's going to be happening in the picture, the sun's shining in from this direction. So once it's all dry, I'm going to try and paint in some sunlight or sun rays coming through. And yeah, I was gonna do this all. I got started with something to eat, and I kind of got caught up in what I was doing with this and wanted to get started, and then went, oh, that might have been bad timing. I'm looking for something. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna wipe some stuff off the balloon. So, because I want this, since the sunlight is going to be hitting this higher area. Sorry, there. Didn't want all the dark stuff up here. And I'm going to be helping a friend to get started doing more of this. And I'll tell you, it's just one of those things that if you have any inclination, I'd say go for it, because it's just a lot of fun to do. All right, now the rest of this back here, this was sky, but we're gonna have a pink sky. We're gonna say it's sundown or sunrise. No, it was sundown. Yeah, it was sundown when I took this picture. And I kind of want to go with it because I love the nuance of it. So now I want to start, actually, I want to do this bridge here, which was a lighter color. The picture's on my phone. I don't have a printout of it, and since I'm using my phone to video this, I had to make sure I got the basic layout of it. So it's a lighter bridge than what the trees are. Made out of a light wood. Of course, there's a tree and a little tree, I don't think it's quite a sapling. And the funny thing is the way the tree, let's see here, yeah. The tree's in front of that bridge, so it's like although by the time I get done, it may end up in a different place. And here is, I think I threw out my previous tongue depressor. So time to break in a new one. I definitely want more of the light on this, since it's a lighter wood bridge. Of course, most likely nobody that would be interested in buying this, if it ever got to that stage, would really know where it was or care. As far as they knew, it was made up in my imagination, but I mean, you gotta figure somebody who does this has gotten ideas from somewhere. Okay. And here we go. Get that woodsy feeling, and because it's like the sun's coming in here, so the bottom of it should be darker than the top of the bridge. Okay, now to fill in our trees. Just gotta remember. Okay. Yeah, I had a pretty big tree. One here. Yeah. There's a little tree. Here. And there are two trees on this side. And these were in front of the bridge. Hoping I have just enough of this lighter to get the basic stuff. Okay, I will be making a little more of that. And then, let's see here. The main thing with this is trying to remember which trees went where. And we will know whether or not I need to start all over again. It's kind of like I can't decide how much to have you guys see my foibles. Sometimes I think it's important to see foibles just to know it happens. And that you don't give up just because something didn't turn out the first time that you did it. And that you can keep working things. And that, surprisingly, a lot of my foibles that end up to be something cool if I just keep working at it. And that is going to take a special kind of help right in there. I think I'll worry about that later. And let's get these two trees real quick. Since the sun's coming in this way, it's going to be hitting the inside of these trees right here, the trunks, on the inside. Now, just because the sun's not here, but it's coming through, so you're going to see where it reflects off the trees as it's going through it, and then it's hitting here. So we'll do this one. And since these aren't like the giant sequoias, you're gonna see at least pretty much the top of them. And I may put just a little white on the inside of those. And this tree's kind of back behind everything, so most of it is going to be darker here. Now, one thing I did find out with my one last painting, that I think a lot of you enjoyed, where I started making flowers and stuff over the wet branches. I found out, yeah, that does not work, because when you're trying to blend in stuff for the flowers, you keep picking up the brown from the other stuff, and it doesn't you get brown in your flowers, which is not what I was going for. And I've done, like on the one purple foresty one, I'm actually going to put this one behind the bridge. And some of this may end up just using my, using a brush to refine this bridge. Because I'm going to be using a paintbrush to get the foliage in the background, I think. But you know, I read an article by Grandma Moses years ago who made money on basically her own little way of painting. And in the article, she was like, nobody needs to go and, take art classes to paint. You just paint. And I mean, if you want to do technical work and painting, it really, really doesn't hurt to learn from somebody. Like techniques so that you get proper perspective. But then, I mean, Grandma Moses, her work is really cool, and there are people, that follow it with their folk art. But it's kind of like, it's its own flavor for sure. I never was entirely sure what I thought of her stuff, but I got looking at different things, and you know what? It's kind of grown on me. And I'm sure the vast majority of artists, and actually have a nephew, and he is a fantastic sketch artist. I think he may have tried selling some. And he's been a great sketch artist since he was probably 4 years old. My daughter, natural sketch artist. And I remember my nephew just didn't like taking art classes because he didn't want somebody messing with his style. And you know what? I don't blame him. But it's like you learn a little bit and then you make it your own, right? Because no two artists are the same. And this is how you work to your strength. You work to your likes and what you're good at. Because, it would be quite a boring world if we all painted the same things. I really don't have, there's some artists like I would duplicate them in a minute if I could. But I don't think they'd appreciate me stealing their ideas. And then we have to, okay, now I've got to lengthen that trunk again. Ugh. I just realized I forgot to put on my apron. Told you I was distracted, trying to do too many things at once. You get to see me in all my workout glory. And when I moved out here to Kansas from Virginia Beach, it was crazy because I thought I would see even taller trees than we had in Virginia Beach, because we had some pretty tall trees, but the grass, or not the grass, the sod, the soil was predominantly clay, very close to the edge. So like you could only easily dig about probably 3 inches down, and you were hitting hard clay. And then when you were trying to make a soft area under the swings for the kids, so if they landed, it wouldn't get hurt. And yeah, we had to get a sledgehammer out there. This tree doesn't have too much white on it. This one kind of does here, because it's more on the inside where the sun comes through. And this one's kind of here. Alrighty. So, oh, actually, okay, so I am actually going to stop here, or well, no, almost. I'll stop here. Yeah, this is kind of one of those hobbies that once I get started on an idea, kind of get really like, oh yeah, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Okay, so one more little tree here. I'll do a little extra black. So yeah, I'm not deluding myself that this isn't anything but, you know, an impressionist kind of artwork. I talked to my old art teacher several years ago, my high school art teacher, Richard Cruz. And he was telling me how when he started art classes, he just worked on getting really exact. And his art teacher's like, okay, yeah, so you can draw something really exact, but what does it mean? That it's like get a little flavor in it. And my early art teachers, when I was first really taking classes, and actually I had started sketching before I even took high school art. And they're always, my daughter would always make sure and fuss at me if I didn't do real big on getting my shadows just right. But Mom, where's your light source? Shade them. They need shade. You need to use the black. Don't be afraid to use the black. And bring out, okay, these are these thick trees. And when I come back, I will probably make up some more of this lighter brown. The thing I love about trees is and actually what's funny is my work as a therapist, I got talking with one patient and it kind of lit up his world that while he was stuck in the hospital, we could talk art. And he was looking at, I showed him some of my paintings. And he's like, look, he goes, no, nothing in nature is that uniform. Your trees look too uniform. So it's like, yeah, the thing is, if you make a mistake on these, and I think Bob Ross is like, oh, they're not mistakes. And it's kind of like, yeah, it may not have been what you initially intended, but hey, go with it, because it's kind of like us. You know, people say, or one common thing in Christian circles is, God didn't make any mistakes. So if you're thinking you weren't made right, just remember, God doesn't make mistakes. It's kind of what we do with it that makes the difference. All right, so we will be back. Okay, so I'm back now, and again, I needed to get the picture that was on my phone, so I had to get started with some of the basic stuff, and this is a little trial and error today. It's kind of taking bits and pieces of stuff I've seen some other artists do, and I think I've got it, and I also think either the bridge is going to have to go away or I'm going to have to repaint it. I know there's something you can do to cover areas. And I thought about tape, but I think that might be more trouble than it's worth. And again, I could just repaint it because I know I'll be able to see where it's a little bulkier. So we're going to try this. So what I've done is, let me tip this down. I think you can see it there. Here, and I'll get it closer so you can kind of see what we've got going on. I've gone ahead and covered it with, again, some of the green paint because that's where the grass is in the picture. So I'm going to do a little more because I know I'll need a little more. And I'm going to try it with kind of three different greens. And when I mixed the greens tonight, I think I did it a little thinner than some of the others. Let's see here. Let me get that back a little bit so you can see, kind of get the full picture, the gestalt of it. And because, you know, you want to see and that there are different blades of grass, I'm using a darker behind it, but also because the sun's coming in, it's going to be hitting some of this front grass a little lighter, especially over in here. So my great plan is that I'm going to be able to tip this and get it kind of spread out a little bit, and then I'll use a fork to make kind of more individual blades of grass. And I've got 3 different colors of green, so I'm going to see if a little bit of this color. Unfortunately, I was really wanting to use a new favorite color, Phthalocyanin green, and I didn't have enough of it, and I didn't think I had quite enough time to go and buy some more paint. So we're doing this. And in the picture, it's all shadowed here in the middle because all these trees are behind. There's a bunch of little brushes back in here. um, and I'm gonna use just a little bit of this light brown in here. And part of me is afraid that it's gonna, I mean, it's already gonna be kind of impressionistic. So let's see what happens. All right, I'm gonna tip it. Let me get this up here so you can see kind of what's going on. And I may have gotten this too thin, so let me kind of help things along here. Alright, and it doesn't just grow straight, grass is kind of random. Now what's fun is in the time that you guys weren't with me, but no time will have passed for you all while I got to this point, and it's been a couple days, so I wanted to make sure all the paint for the trees was good and dry. Like I said, I didn't with one other painting, it ended up that the brown from the branches wanted to bleed into the blossoms. So okay, so I'm kind of digging how this is turning out. And you guys are great for hanging with me while I'm trying some new things. And now I'm going to go back to doing I think, okay, did not get it on the carpet, yay! Little victories, I take them all the time. Okay, so we got our grass here. All right, so I'm going to go back to, in this area, and actually I was kind of thinking with the trees I want to do a little more like with the balloon that I did with the grass, or the path. So I'm going to come up in here and this is all darker back in here, so I'll be putting some brown, and then it gets lighter over here. Okay, so let me and this is turned green, and then we have some olive green. some turquoise, green. Alrighty, let's see. Whoops. I need more colors over here, right? That's going to be lighter over here. And then our tree, I'm going to put over in here. Actually, because I hope you can, yeah, unfortunately, let's try and turn that way. I really need somebody to be here with me, don't I? Okay. Sorry, folks, making y'all dizzy. Let me turn this way, so I think you can see a little bit better what I'm trying to do. All right, and then just getting just a few little smidges of grass down in here. This is, the bottom part may end up being my favorite part of this painting. And I promise the next one I do is gonna look a whole lot better. Well, this, I'm not giving up yet. I'm really not. Because, I mean, we've talked that, you know, don't discount life just because it doesn't turn out right away the way you want it. This is definitely going to be a textured painting, which I think is really fun. Yeah, now I'm kind of deep. I'm just got the basic idea of what I wanted, and I'm just kind of now freestyle. This is closer, so you're going to see definitely more definition of what's going on down here. But the sun really shines on this area, so I want that still. We'll just so if any of you have any thoughts on this, I would be more than happy to listen to your thoughts. And I just like to hear what people are thinking anyway. Okay, now let's get these leaves. And I do need just a touch of of white up in here. Alrighty, now let's see if I can make this leafy. Okay, I forgot. Let me get a little bit of this in here. And I'm going to try and see if I can't get any of this cyan or cyan green, because this with a certain blue looks so cool. Saw that from Painting with Josh. All right, guys. Now you don't want to overdo your balloon pops, because one, it gets muddy. It also kind of takes away from the individual trees. Just take that. Alrighty, guys. I think okay, this is a lot more fun than I thought it would be. Actually, what I'm going to do, are we still in frame here? As I knock everything around again. Okay. Here, I'm going to get this closer and see if you can see. Whoops. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Alrighty. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm go back, because, like I said, just because one picture says it's supposed to be one way. Here, I want to show you. I see you. I want to show you kind of what we've got so far. Okay, a little out. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to work with that grass there at the bottom a little bit more. And because I kind of like when it drips, you go with it, right? It wasn't exactly where I wanted everything to go, but hey. Life is full of surprises. And there are times where it's like I get frustrated that I try and I think I'm doing what's gonna look best. And as I go, it's like, okay, that does not look best. Let's try. And then the mistakes are what make everything come together. Yeah, so let me yes, I have had times in life, most paintings until recently have been with paintbrushes. And here I need to, there. We have dark kind of back in there. Okay, I'm just gonna let me add a little more light to right there. Because I want, this tree is all in the foreground, so I gotta make it a little brighter right here. I think I've got enough. Alrighty. Okay, folks. Now, to rebuild that bridge, and I'll put that there so I don't step on it. All right, let's make sure. Okay. Now I'm going to start with the black. You want the dye. One thing I have learned is it's always smartest. Actually, you know what? I am going to back here, because there were just some random, come on, just a little here. Come on, work with me, baby. couple places, especially since I have to kind of tie in some of these small green splotches. Where just teeny little twigs kind of were. Well, that wasn't a teeny little twig, was it? Okay, go back to my tongue depressor. Okay. Now then, I think I can see where the bridge was. And it goes mostly in front of this green here. Yeah, there. And we have up here. This one's higher, so there isn't grass in front of it. And then the top rail. And since this one brown kind of giving up on me, I'm gonna go across here. It's always lighter on top. Well, not always. It is in this case. Because of the direction of the sun, it's going to be darker on the bottom. That's where the shadows are. And here. Ah, gee. Okay, and this down here is definitely going to be wider because it is what you're standing on. And these are the handrails. Okay. And then okay. And just a touch here. Okay, let's just say Tarzan came to visit, right? I almost feel like this is Swiss Family Robinson. Okay. And then of course you're gonna have little pieces of grass that are kind of covering the bottom here. All right, friends. Oh, the treaty's not to be left out of the end of this painting. All right. Okay, well, for my first time doing this type of painting, is a perfect no, but you know, I'm not horribly disappointed with it. It's something that over time, probably in the next few weeks, I may look at it and go, oh, I really need to change this, or I need to change that. And realize now when I did the fort, I made it just a little too uniform. Okay, friends. Here we go. I think I got you a little crooked, but I'm gonna back this all up so we can see. There we go. I'm really liking how those leaves turned out. So that's some stuff I'm gonna be doing. I think this did a really great job of teaching some techniques. And some of this stuff is, I just came up with it on my own, and I really have to say I love using that balloon to make the tree leaves. And I think how these leaves turned out really cool. Definitely the ground down here, the pathway. Love, love, love that. And if it were dry enough, or what I'll do, and then I'll show you the final project when I put out another video, because I've got to still do the rays of sunshine in through here. But I hope you've had a really blessed time watching that, maybe a laugh or two, or just learning, because isn't that what life is all about? God gives us chances to do over and over, and there you have it. All right. So I want to finish this up with just telling you, let's see here. There I am. Okay. Just want to pray for y'all, and that Jesus will hold you and keep you and let you know he's got his arms around you, and that life is worth waking up for. So thank you, thank you. Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. Okay, so I worked with it a little more. It's still not dry, and but I think I got it, so it's looking a little better. Just wanted you to see. That's a little footbridge in back. I brought this down a little farther so it flows. And like I said, it's a good start, and I'm really kind of happy with the things I learned with this. I know I'll be using it, and but I just hope you like this. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you're from, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.